Well, the Pentagon confirmed a Chinese surveillance balloon is hovering over the U.S., claiming it poses no threat while it soars over our missile facilities.
As this balloon traverses the continental United States, we assess that it currently does not pose a physical or military risk to people on the ground. It'll probably be over the United States for a few days.
And just a few days, and Biden has still not done anything about this. Keep in mind that this is a fairly sophisticated piece of technology, the size of a commercial airliner. Here's a closer look at what it looks like. It's a helium-filled balloon with solar panels, cameras, sensors, and communication devices. China released a statement, though, admitting that the balloon is theirs, claiming it's a civilian airship used for meteorological research, and it deviated far from its planned course. We'll take a look at the map of the balloon's path. NOAA put out a map of the predicted flight 120 hours before it reached Montana. I'm sure flying over our military bases is just a coincidence. Joining us now is senior national security analyst Ric Grenell. Ric, really good to have you with us on this, and very curious to get your take, given the fact that this is now spotted flying over North Carolina. And the Biden administration knew about this before it entered U.S. airspace. Why wasn't anything done before?
Look, I want to point out one thing that the Pentagon spokesman said, and we should really replay this line for the viewers. He said that it doesn't, the balloon doesn't pose a physical or military threat. Now think about that. It doesn't pose a threat that is somehow going to harm people physically or shoot at us, right? That's what they're saying. But that was never the concern. The concern has always been spying. They're collecting information and they're spying on us. That's not a physical threat. That's not a military threat, but it's a very real intelligence threat. And this is where I have a big problem with the Biden administration. You asked the question of why are they letting this happen? And the answer is pretty simple. Joe Biden values consensus with the Chinese. He values a relationship where the Chinese are happy with us, they're not angry with us, they're not tweeting bad things. He is maximizing this idea that let's keep the Chinese happy. Now, the opposite of this consensus with the Chinese is America First policy, where we put forward policies that make our people stronger, that make our people better, and then we diplomatically deal with the fallout and try to find common ground after that. President Trump put forward a very aggressive America First policy, and that's why China wouldn't fly balloons over America or wouldn't embarrass us by coming to Alaska as they did and lecturing us on our human rights record under the Trump administration. They've done all those things during the Biden administration.
So today, President Biden saying that America's going to take care of this balloon. What exactly does that mean? Does that mean we'll shoot it down once it's over the ocean? Or will there be some sort of, let's get that balloon down and see what surveillance they might be taking of the United States?
Well, it's a good question. I don't know what they mean, and I certainly don't have confidence in what the Biden administration is doing. They've already allowed a collection of data across our countries. This balloon can maneuver. It doesn't just float. It actually can go where it wants to go. It's gone over several military bases. It's clearly collecting information.
Ric, what kind of information could it be collecting, and how could it be used against the United States?
Well, I don't want to go into great details about kind of intelligence collecting. I don't think it's prudent. But let me just say in general that when you have satellite footage and you're taking pictures, and remember the technology today from satellites are incredibly strong, and that's why this balloon is so big, that the technology is clearly first-rate technology, and it's able to capture pictures and listening devices. And so they're collecting all sorts of information. You know, they do this through TikTok too, by the way. And people should remember that TikTok is like a balloon over your family's house. And they are monitoring and collecting information. This information is all fed into their communist party system, and it can tell a lot. Look, we in the United States know that data collection is really good for healthcare, for instance.
Rick, we're almost out of time, and I want to get
that
one more in with you really quickly. It's been over a week now since Newsmax was pulled away from 13 million homes. It's the second conservative channel that DirecTV has canceled in a year, and DirecTV, of course, is what you can see here exactly the statistics on your screen. Where are we at with this right now? We've heard pressure from congressional lawmakers, from the former president himself. How does this change?
Well, look, let's be clear. We need to listen to the Democrats and believe them when they tell us who they are. There was a letter last year from Democratic leaders saying that AT&T and DirecTV should go after OAN, Newsmax, and Fox News. And that was clear. The Democrat leaders challenged AT&T and challenged DirecTV to go after these three conservative stations and shut them down. That was their directive. AT&T and DirecTV have listened. They're filled with very liberal leaders at AT&T and DirecTV. The whole board is filled with far lefties. And they went after OAN and they shut it down. Now they're going after Newsmax. Fox is next. There's no question that this is the strategy of the Democrats. They laid it out in a letter. It's a publicly available letter. People should listen to what the Democrats are saying and believe them, because they're coming for dissenting information. This is not about disinformation. This is shutting down anyone who challenges their version of policy.
Ric Grenell, thanks for being here. We appreciate you.